The Philadelphia Eagles in victory formation take down the Detroit Lions 16-9. I think Collinsworth summed this game up best, honestly. The world champs looked like world champs tonight. The Detroit offense, the Philadelphia Eagles defense made the Detroit Lions offense embarrassed tonight, right? He's had a really good offense that they embarrassed tonight. And I think that sums it up. Honestly, I think there's still plenty to clean up on the Philadelphia Eagles offense, of course. Also, bizarre decision maker to go for it and essentially give the Lions a field goal at the end of this game to make it a one-score game. Like, that's the type of stuff where you're just like, what are you doing right now? Like, just this team literally could not move the ball on this defense, but you're automatically putting them in field goal range. So it's just like, it's not like, well, I trust my defense. It's like, doesn't matter. You're still letting it cut down to one score. So I can't see the logic in that decision, especially as you're down 2 starting linemen for that play. It doesn't make sense, honestly. But this game should fire up any Philadelphia Eagles fan because of what that defense did. That was the elite defense. That was the special defense that really made the Eagles so intimidating to go up against. Just high level play. I mean, Goff was disrupted the entire night. Literally the entire night. Because I'm also taking notes from the Detroit side of it. And my notes are just like, Goff was disrupted all game. It was like Goff was, like there was nothing for him to do. And if it wasn't for a handful of explosive runs, by Gibbs and, I guess like kind of technically kind of some of these like short little passes type things. They weren't like straight handoffs, but if it really wasn't for a couple of those kind of big plays, I mean, this offense really had nothing going on. I think there was the one big throw to Jameson Williams, then Amon-Ra St. Brown. You had the 34 long, the 40 long, and like that was it. And even then, still didn't really lead to anything measurable. I mean, all the fourth downs were 0 for 4, 0 for 5, 0 for 5, and 3 for 13. I mean, but then the Eagles couldn't really take advantage as much as they would have like 4 for 15, before that last conversion to win the game. They were 3 for 14. A fortunate pass interference call. Well, I mean, listen, I know a lot of people are probably going to complain about that pass interference call, and understandably so. But like, it's not like the Lions had been rolling. It's not like the Lions had any momentum. Even when the Eagles gave them the ball back, they literally could not do anything. They couldn't move the ball back. Goff was getting disrupted, sacked, crushed, and then they kicked a field goal because they were already in field goal range. So it's hardly like if they gave the ball back that there was a sense of like, uh-oh, and Detroit has really found something here. Like that wasn't the case. By any stretch of the amount. They ran 4 plays and went -7 yards. Okay. Incompletion. Sack. Incompletion. Field goal. Okay? They literally went -7 yards for 4 plays. So, let's keep that in context. Before, random people try to like have a panic attack, but, it's a tough loss for the Detroit Lions. The Chicago Bears have the 1 seed now. Philadelphia Eagles have the ultimate 1 seed in the NFC as a whole, 8-2. I think the Lions played good defense too, for the most part. Not a lot of receivers open for Jalen to work with. A couple bad throws by Jalen, a couple nice runs. Majority of his runs were all scrambles, and Collinsworth's begging them like, do more design runs for Jalen, do more design runs for Jalen. And and when they did them, it worked well. Jalen had a few really beautiful throws scrambling. The one throw to Dotson, he was scrambling in his own end zone, was really nice. Obviously, they wanted to work the ball to A.J. Brown. And I'm sure some people now are going to say that the offense didn't working because they tried to force the ball too much to A.J. Brown. And I don't think that was necessarily the case. Although A.J. Brown should get ripped for the fact that he just did not run the one route that, again, Collinsworth was just like, you can't have that happen. But again, Devontae was neutralized. Dallas Goedert was neutralized. Saquon Barkley had some nice runs, but it was really more of a volume thing. 26 carries for 83. Tank Dell had that nice little... Oh, Tank Dell. Tank Biesby had that nice little 17-yarder, which was key. I mean, this game in general was just a tough... This game felt like, again, honestly, ironically, like it was against the Packers. Like it was just a brutal, freezing cold, windy night. We know it was obviously windy. We know both teams didn't really necessarily feel comfortable with the field goals. And the deep passing game wasn't really there for either team. So this was one of those games where it was just like defense and running. You got to rise to the occasion, and 40 carries. This was smart. 40 carries for 148 yards. And you shut down their run game. 21 carries for 74 yards. They disrupted Goff the whole night. He's 14 for 37, 255 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 2 sacks. Could have been like 50 sacks. I can't wait to see the bottom line number of all the pressure that Goff had and a 60.1 passer rating, Not the best. Not the best. But that's what makes Jalen Hurts so important, is that he can then also run the ball and use his legs. So when the passing game's not there, when it's tough to come by, the threat of him running still opens up the field. Again, as Collinsworth pretty much just kept repeating throughout the whole course of the game. So, I'm not telling you anything that you obviously don't already know or that you just haven't just heard after watching this game. And that is still kind of a little bit of a limiting factor, that when things are not going to plan, you can say, well, listen, man, let's just have Jared Goff just try. Just even if he runs for 5 yards, it still kind of takes a little pressure off, still opens up the game, a little play action, a little RPO for Gibbs and working the ball to Amon-Ra. Like, they don't have that flexibility, and that's where you would just like to see the Eagles do more of that and lean into that. Listen, if you listen to Collinsworth this game, because this is one of those games where I was actually kind of really leaning into the commentary, because there was only so much action right now for this game. And, Collinsworth just pretty much kept saying, he goes, I think the runs are going to start to come more. He's like, this defense is better than it was last year in the playoffs. So that should make you feel good. But you still just want to see this offense get going. And I guess if Saquon can start breaking out more, I'd love to see them use Tank Biesby more as well. Then, who knows. But the O-line issues, the injuries, and again, I think Jalen dealt with it well. And even the guys that had to step up in place for the injured line, still think they did relatively well. A couple untimely, false starts and whatnot, just is what it is. But right now, I think coming away with any win, 169, and it's actually kind of funny, and I'll end here. A team like the Eagles will get a lot of flack, okay, for a game like this. And I understand to a degree why, but follow this with me. The Jets scored 14 points with Justin Fields. That ain't good. The Dolphins and the Commanders, they're irrelevant right now. Bengals and the Steelers, we'll see. Aaron just got injured. But the Jags, they have not been good. They haven't been consistent. And the Chargers only scored 6 points and gave up 35. Okay, now we're to some relevant teams. The Bills and the Bucks 44-32. Okay, you gave up a ton. They gave up 2. The Bills won, but they gave up 200+ yards on the ground. That game was bonkers. Multiple interceptions, turnovers galore. Again, the Bucks giving up 44, right? So it's the Buccaneers scored 32, they gave up 44. The Bears and the Vikings, that was almost a game that both teams were kind of trying their best to lose to a degree. The Texans and the Titans, again, who really cares? Panthers and the Falcons, I don't know, man. Who the heck are the Panthers? Bryce Young was thrown for 500 yards, but again, they gave up 27 points to the Falcons. And now you have the Packers and the Giants. They gave up 20 points. They almost lost this game. This game was a close game. They were losing this for a stretch to Jameis Winston, right? Okay. And then the Seahawks-Rams 21-19. The Rams forced 4 interceptions off of Sam Darnold, and yet they still only scored 21 points. It was crazy. The Seahawks had literally triple or quadruple the amount of first downs as the Rams, but they could not score touchdowns. They could not. And again, they turned the ball over 4. Might have been more than 4, but it was definitely at least 4 interceptions. The 49ers hung a lot of points. 41 still gave up 22 points against Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals. The Ravens literally almost lost the game to Dylan Gabriel and then Shedeur Sanders. And the Chiefs and the Broncos. What's there to say about that game right now? I guess it depends on which side you're looking at it from, the Chiefs or the Broncos. But the Broncos, obviously, huge win. And the Chiefs, they couldn't score more than 19 points against that Broncos defense. They couldn't stop the Broncos offense, who was apparently this just really bad, anemic offense. And, not good apparently. And now you have against an awesome offense, a top offense in the NFL. And the Philadelphia Eagles held them to 9 points. But all fingers will be at the 16 points that they scored. And the in the 135 yards, the 14 for 28 from Jalen, 63.8 passer, and all that. And it's I don't know, right now, the way how these games are all unfolding, I don't know how much it matters. So I'm curious what people will say about this game. There's a lot of games I was really just man, I I can't wait to hear what everyone has to say about this. But it is interesting. When you look at all the games as a whole, and I think there will be a sense, and that's why I kind of went through these other games, there will be a sense that, that a team that scored 35-6 against the Chargers, or the Bills and the Bucks, right, like that these teams actually played better, essentially, than what the Eagles just did. And I'm just not so sure that's the case. I mean, the Lions have the second best offense. They are averaging 31.4 points per game. And that's including this game now, that this took a huge hit. So, you'd have to do the quick math, which I'm not going to do right now. Probably like, they were probably averaging what, 32, 33 points maybe, or so. Maybe slightly more. Again, you'd have to take a look. But, they were obviously averaging, regardless, 30-plus points per game. And the Philadelphia Eagles held them to 3 field goals. And that's what Collinsworth was trying to emphasize. Like, make no mistake about that. And that's a big fundamental problem with the Detroit Lions. It's like, they live and die by the fourth downs. And it's like, if they don't get it, then they're not successful. And it's like, my take for the Lions will be like, you gotta be able to score points without just constantly having it rely on 4-down territory. It's just, you got to. I mean, otherwise if you're not converting, this is what you get. So all in all, I think a great game. Maybe not a high-powered, high-flying game, but the exact type of game that the Philadelphia Eagles want to play. And I think after watching all these teams play, I'm never a huge believer in the whole home field advantage, playoffs, cold weather, warm weather teams. I understand that there's some advantage. I'm not going to say that there's no advantage, but people really try to emphasize as if like, that's it, man, right? Like that's... And if it was, then it would be really easy. Just bet on the home teams and boom, gum, you'd be a billionaire. Congrats, right? So, it's obviously more complicated than that, but I do think that the Philadelphia Eagles, especially if their defense is going to keep playing like this, and if it's going to start to get cold and windy in Philly, yeah, against a team that wants to throw the ball a lot like Seattle, like the Rams, like the Packers, like the Lions, right? Like the Bucks, you're going to have the advantage here, especially if you can get your run game going. And especially if you can keep Jalen Hurts' legs moving forward. So, but those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. It's going to be a fun day tomorrow. Monday. Man, we got some good takes coming down the pipe. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. So, you agree with me or disagree with me? Either way, let's get to some discussions. Let's get to some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.